Welcome to Dr. Karen Health Talks. Today is the last day of April 2020. The longest month of the year is what I am calling it. It's a month that we will never forget. It's a month that we will reflect on and remember how our lives changed so much. And today I'm going to bring some good news. And we start a new month tomorrow, and a new month where we can choose to shift our consciousness and shift our language. So many of you know that I went to medical school in Australia, and a big part of Western medicine is what's called the Germ Theory. And way back then, when I went to medical school, germs are basically bad, and our job is to get rid of germs. And thank goodness for a guy named Louis Pasteur, way back in the 19th century, who did a lot of work around the germ theory. In fact, he probably is responsible for that term, the germ theory, and it is his science that basically Western medicine's biology and disease pathology is based. And it says that a germ is out there, it comes and invades our body, and through antibiotics and vaccinations, we can get rid of those germs. Well, as I've been moving through my life and my wellness work and enjoying amazing new education, something called the microbiome has become very, very important in medicine, which kind of calls to question the purity of the germ theory. Now, I'm also someone that doesn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and let's just be very grateful for Louis Pasteur and his amazing work in understanding germs. But this microbiome now says that we have 10 times as many microbes inside our body as we do human cells. And these microbes, which are made of bacteria and virus and fungi, all play a very important role in every metabolic process in every organ and system of our body. So germs are not bad. All germs are not bad, let's say. We have to get out of the all or nothing thinking. And a lot of Western medicine is based on all or nothing thinking. And I am choosing to bring in and add another model of understanding disease pathology, and that's called the terrain model. So there were two theories that came out way back in the 19th century. One was the one I spoke about, the germ theory by Louis Pasteur, and another one that you probably haven't heard this guy's name, Antoine Béchamp. And they were both 19th century researchers. They were actually contemporaries, and they were members of the French Academy of Science. And their differences, though, were that they had different views on biology and disease pathology. And they did have a prolonged rivalry in and outside the academy. And certainly in medical school, I did not hear about the terrain theory. Of course, I heard about the germ theory, and most of modern medicine is based on that premise. Pharmaceutical medicine, vaccinations, antibiotics, all revolve around the germ theory. Well, what if we added to that, and please hear me, I'm saying added, I am bringing another thought for us as we move into this new month. The terrain theory says this, that our bodies are micro-ecosystems. What does that mean? It means that we have this internal ecosystem, this terrain in our body that is also called the internal environment of our body, that when it is disturbed, when it becomes weakened, and it becomes weakened through poor nutrition, toxicity, environmental pollutants, it changes the function of the microbes that are naturally present in our body, otherwise known as the microbiome. Do you hear the difference? That our microbiome is designed to be in balance. It's like a rainforest. It's made up of many different varieties and species, and diversity is super important. In fact, with our microbiome, if we have too much of one species, that would be out of balance. So the job of the microbiome is to be diverse. But when this diversity is disrupted, when it is weakened, and we all know how, well, maybe we don't all know, I've been speaking about this for a long time, about how the microbiome becomes weakened. So with excess antibiotics, so anti against biotics, microbes, bacteria, then when we put antibiotics, it certainly kills the pathogenic bacteria, but it also disrupts our microbiome. That's why you do want to take a good probiotic when you take an antibiotic, but not at the same time, of course. So we've got to maintain what we call the flora of our internal ecosystem, our microbiome. It gets disrupted by certain pharmaceutical medications or excess medications, by processed foods that are not real live foods and are not feeding our body good nutrition. By excess refined sugar upsets our microbiome. By excess stress upsets our microbiome. And don't forget the mind-body connection. So our gut is intricately connected to our brain through the vagus nerve. So everything that happens in our gut also affects our mental and emotional state. So all of this fear that is out there, all of this fighting against this virus that is out there, is upsetting our internal ecosystem, our terrain. And our job is to keep our internal ecosystem in balance. So those of us that have been blessed at this time to not have to go into the healthcare system and have been given stay-at-home orders, our job is not just to passively stay at home and live in fear. Our job is to keep our internal ecosystem strong. Now, you could also say to support a healthy immune system. So the immune system is only part of our internal ecosystem, but it's a good start. And you know that I wrote my free ebook at this time called 12 Lifestyle Tips to Support a Healthy Immune System. And you can get that at drkarenwolfe.org, drkarenwolfe.org/immune system. It is free, and it goes through 12 ways that we can keep our internal ecosystem in balance. Now, some of them will not surprise you, like stress and reduced refined sugar and good supplementation at this time to support our good cellular nutrition and eating whole foods and exercising. But some might surprise you, such as laughter, such as listening to relaxing music to engage our parasympathetic nervous system, support systems. Being a helper and receiving help helps our internal ecosystem. So in the month of May, as we start a new month, I encourage you to take back your power. And again, if you have been fortunate to be at home on stay-at-home orders, do not see that as a punishment. See this as an opportunity to wake up and realize that our responsibility is to take care of our internal ecosystem. What products are you using at home that might be poisoning your internal ecosystem? Think about your healthy home. Think about what you're putting in and on your body that affects your internal ecosystem. So our job is to keep the microbes that naturally live presently in our body healthy, so it does not produce disease. And this Antoine Béchamp, in his terrain theory, actually says that microorganisms only become pathogenic. They only show up as a danger in our body after environmental factors cause the host's cellular terrain to deteriorate. This is a direct quote from his work. The host's cellular internal terrain deteriorates. And we know in this pandemic that those people that have been the most affected are those people that have pre-existing conditions where their internal terrain has already been compromised. And I say all of this to offer hope, to offer some power back. Let's see where the control and power lies right now as we work simply with the germ theory and living in fear and fighting this thing. Where if we add the terrain theory and say, okay, my job is to be even healthier right now than before the pandemic. Perhaps all this chronic disease epidemic that has been plaguing the United States of America because we're eating poorly, we're not exercising, we've lost significant relationships. This is why we are seeing such a increase in this pandemic here. And our job is to get back and create health. I hope that just these words have made you think, because that's my job, to think, to inspire you perhaps with behavior changes that say, I'm ready to take back control. I do not want to live in fear. I choose not to live in fear. I choose not to use language like fighting and killing. I choose to use words like creating health, optimizing my internal ecosystem, building my terrain, building my host resistance, supporting my immune system. And I hope you will get my free ebook so that it can be a beginning. Maybe you can use it to have a conversation with family about what small steps you can use to build your internal terrain. And I know that as we step into this new month, this new consciousness, that we have new hope and new possibilities for a healthier America moving forward. That's not just my dream. I know that will be so because I'm going to be part of the solution to this. And I'm excited to be part of the messaging that every single one of us can be part of this. So until next time, this is Dr. Karen Wolf. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay positive, stay loving, stay hopeful. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.